Yo. What's good, y'all, man? We got Screen 7 getting a reboot, Sinister 6 movie, Toy Story 5 update, and more. Say like it up, man. I see Thanksgiving turkey, man. Happy Thanksgiving to y'all, man. And let me know what y'all doing for Thanksgiving, man. Let me know kind of blow. And yeah.
Newman, will you do it?
Damn.
You can thank me later.
Hello there, my movie peeps. Appreciate you clicking on this video, and a happy Thanksgiving to you, as it is Thanksgiving as I'm recording this and uploading this. We've got some interesting movie news to discuss here today. I'm going to be catching up on some stuff that I was focused away from because of all the Scream news, even though we have another big Scream 7 update today. I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the Karate Kid movie announcement, colliding the two universes together. We got Tim Allen, the voice of Buzz Lightyear, giving us an update on Toy Story 5. Really, that along with so much more, so you guys know the drill. Leave me your opinions down below with everything we discuss here today. Timestamps will be in the description, and you know, I know this is going to be awkward, but I have to do it. It's Thanksgiving. Thank you for watching me, man. I am so grateful for this community, this channel, you guys who tune in my videos, whether you're subscribed or you just randomly decide, let me see what 3C Films uploaded, whether you agree, disagree with me. Man, I am so thankful to have just your eyeballs watching me right now, so I love you, man. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, sappy stuff out of the way. Let's get into the movie news. And the first thing I want to dive into here today is we did get some minor casting updates involved with Superman Legacy. One I definitely wanted to discuss here today. We have Variety reporting Superman Legacy adds Skylar Gisondo, sorry if I mispronounced that, Jimmy Olsen, and Sarah Sampaio, I probably also mispronounced that, as Eve Tushmaster. At least that's what I said on the live stream the other day. Sarah Sampaio has been cast as Eve Tushmaster, or Tushmaker? Tushukimaka? Need to get me thankful for some, you know, reading lessons, don't I? But here are some latest supporting characters that'll be part of Superman Legacy, and it is at least...
Man, there's a lot of cast on that Superman. Like, I kind of want to see how that's going to play out. I'm kind of wondering about that movie, though. I ain't going to lie.
Some traditional
Superman
people that'll be part of the movie, because lately it feels like James Gunn was just announcing random superheroes in the DC universe and putting them in the movie, which I'm all up for. I'm waiting to see what he cooks. But man, our casting for Jimmy Olsen, I feel, is absolutely perfect. Like, Jimmy Olsen is supposed to be this like innocent, dorky, clumsy, but lovable guy, and everything I've seen of this actor has screamed that. And you know, just wrap a camera around his neck, feels like he fits the role very well. But on the Eve character, that's also kind of gives us a small idea of what we could be seeing go down in Superman Legacy. This person in the comics is usually the assistant slash love interest for Lex Luthor, which is a trope that we have been seeing in a lot of the live action interpretations of Lex Luthor. Even in the Batman vs Superman version, Zack Snyder gave Lex Luthor an assistant, except that character was named Mercy Graves and was a much more of like an assassin, almost bodyguard protector for Lex. But yeah, from all these casting choices of David Cornsweet playing Superman, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, our Jimmy Olsen here, I'm loving the choices. This movie is shaping up nicely. I just wish I could get a better understanding of
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to like visualize. Like, I can't visualize like what's going on. Like, too much casting. But at least get like a teaser trailer coming soon, probably. But yeah,
of the plot and how James Gunn is going to execute this, because I have my hesitations, but I know he's going to pull it off, right? He has to pull it off. How are you guys feeling about some of these minor updates concerning Superman Legacy? Something else I kind of smallly wanted to touch upon here, although I don't talk about it much on the channel, some Star Wars updates. We recently had two big things happen into the Star Wars sphere that is going to affect the movies and shows that a lot of fans will be watching in the near future. For one, it was announced that Dave Filoni has been made creative chief officer over at Star Wars. Now he's going to be making a lot of the decisions on what stories, characters, and maybe movies and shows that we'll be getting. I don't want to say he's exactly like the Kevin Feige of Star Wars now, but as close as possible, it looks like, in that role. And again, as a very casual Star Wars guy who mainly sticks to the mainstream movies and like very mainstream shows, I'm just more happy for the Star Wars fans because all my Star Wars mutuals I see online seem to be pretty happy with this decision.
Yeah, they ain't gonna lie, they seem happy. Ain't gonna lie, no
It feels
cap.
like Dave Filoni has a good understanding of like what Star Wars fans want and what they would like to see. But segueing into the next part of this Star Wars update that is also has me the most curious about the future is Daisy Ridley recently did an interview teasing her upcoming Star Wars film, which I believe is like the next actual Star Wars movie we're actually going to get. Sharing details about what her solo movie will be like, she says, "I know the storyline for one film. That's not to say that's all it is, but that's what I was told about, and I imagine it will be the next film, I think. I mean, again, I don't know post-strike and everything, how quickly everything will start up again, but yes, so far, I know the story of one film, and I think people will be very excited." Now, even though it didn't seem like it, I feel like she said a lot there. For one, they're obviously planning to give her a trilogy. Then saying, "I know the story for one of the movies," I'm like, oh, so they have ideas for more, and you're going to be lined up for those. But I'm most interested to see how many Star Wars fans show up. What is going to be the box office numbers for Star Wars going forward? Because right now we're living at a time where even Marvel, DC superhero movies, what are considered the big blockbusters, are flopping. And while you can bring up a ton of reasons for why this isn't working or that isn't working, at the end of the day, I do think it is fan fatigue and, you know, overstuffing that market. And while Star Wars may not have had a big movie in theaters in a while, they've been chucking along on Disney Plus and producing some shows there too. Some that fans watch, some that don't. I wonder if there is almost this disconnect or fatigue as well among Star Wars fans and whether they're even excited to watch a new Star Wars movie. I still think back to the Force Awakens days, and I felt the roaring hype for Star Wars to be on screen.
Right,
As just a casual, people all around me were going nuts. I don't know if they'd ever be able to replicate that again. So this is where I toss it off to you guys. For my real Star Wars fans or even just my casual Star Wars fans.
Catch me in mid-air, click. I do that with flair. Hit that pose, take that flick, check your angle.
Yeah.
Get any Google Pixel 8 phone starting at $10 a month at AT&T. No trade-in required.
Yeah. I said what? I said bah. I said
this
what?
to be more.
I said bah.
squeaky.
No, I'm sorry.
Fans, Dave Filoni being creatively in charge and Daisy Ridley with this first movie and what looks to be a planned trilogy. Are you excited, and how do you think Star Wars fans are going to react? Moving over here, we have an update on Toy Story 5, a movie I can't believe is actually happening, but maybe we need it to just kind of finally end off this wonderful film series. Tim Allen recently went on Jimmy Fallon Tonight and was doing an interview talking about
I heard
what
about
Toy
that.
Story 5 could be and what's going on with it, and well, this is what he said. Bob Iger, head of Disney, said it was on and actually said it was going to happen. They have reached out to Tom and I to reprise the roles. They're not saying anything about it. You wonder if 4 was too many. Is 5 going to be too much? Continuing on, according to the Scuttlebutt, the writer that's doing it wrote one of the better ones and said, "If I don't get this right, I wouldn't do it." It could be a very, very interesting way to reunite it. And here, again, Tim Allen, I feel, although not saying much, did reveal a lot. Just admitting that Disney has reached out to both Tim Allen and
Tom Hanks
to reprise Woody and Buzz.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're gonna reunite the gang. Last we saw them in Toy Story 4, they split up. They went their separate ways. Woody is out there with Bo Peep, saving other toys, finding homes for them, and Buzz is in charge of the old gang and taking care of them there. They're essentially in different states. It looks like the main plot of this movie will be to somehow reunite the toys again, bring them back together, and you know they're just going to give us another ending that would better explain why they should stay a family and not separated, because that was kind of a controversial ending for some Toy Story fans. Well, I kind of like it when I look at it some ways. There's a heartbroken part of me that's like, man, I want them toys together. It's also interesting that they specifically mentioned, oh, the writer of this one wrote one of the better ones. I'm like, you know, even if you didn't like Toy Story 4, I don't really think there was like a bad movie in that.
Yeah, that was a bad movie. Toy Story 4 though. 4 was cool. It was cool. I get 8 out of 10. I think I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
To me, it just sounds like the person writing this one didn't make Toy Story 4, guys. So come on, come back for Toy Story 5. Tim Allen even also expressed that he would love the movie to end with like Woody and Buzz going back to Andy and going to his kids, which is like a popular fan theory fans have been
everybody, yeah, I heard about that.
having, and maybe now that he said that out loud, it won't happen, but we'll see what creative ending they come up with. I throw it off to you guys. How are you feeling about Toy Story 5? Something else that happened this week that I thought was going to be the biggest, most exciting news of my lifetime is this huge announcement that the Karate Kid franchise is basically merging worlds. You guys might have seen it by now, but
Yeah, I
earlier
saw
in the
it,
week, we got this announcement.
And plus that's dope because now I ain't letting y'all be in the cast of it. You know what I'm saying? Well, you gotta pick and shoot. You know, they gotta pick and choose, but yeah, y'all be in the cast of it.
Video from Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan together saying that they will not only star in the new Karate Kid movie, but they're throwing out their hands for someone out there to also be the new Karate Kid.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, the requirements they wanted for the new Karate Kid was to be between the ages of 15, 17 years old, to be Chinese or mixed Chinese race, speaks English, Mandarin was a plus, and if they have any martial arts knowledge, that is also a big plus. I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, but I couldn't audition. I would have made a great Karate Kid. But putting that aside, I am still just most fascinated that this is actually happening. I love the Karate Kid franchise. Even that remake with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith,
yeah, that was good.
Actually a really good
yeah, that was a good
one. There's
a
lot of awesome things in that movie, and I wish they made a sequel, and I thought I would never see Jackie Chan in that role again, but here we have it. This makes me completely befuddled to what the storyline would be. We heard rumors that the storyline for this movie was going to be about, you know, a kid who was coming from China, had been raised in martial arts all his life, a teenager. When he gets to America, he meets an older man who, like, is getting bullied, owns this pizza shop, and the kid will be teaching the adult karate this time around. Some people hated that idea. I thought it could.
Are you having any fun?
Let's go. Okay. But now I'm like, is that still the storyline they're going with here? Because no way do I want Jackie Chan or Ralph Macchio to be in such small roles. I want them to be big focuses of the movie. And, you know, the obvious thing I can think of is that they're each training a karate or slash kung fu kid, and they're going up against a tournament in a weird way. It's kind of like a merging of the worlds. It's like, what was better, karate or kung fu? We's gonna find out. This also brought up a lot of questions about the Cobra Kai connections, and like, is this meaning that the final season will include Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith, and all that? Because if you've been following the Cobra Kai world, Ralph Macchio has said that it doesn't really look like they would ever connect the remake world into the Cobra Kai world, because Mr. Miyagi never really had a connection to those movies, and this is like the Miyagi verse and whatnot. But money talks, right? And looks like that's out the window. But an article did mention that the Cobra Kai team, although not involved with the movie, they have been shown the scripts, the story, what's going to be going down, and they approve of it. They think it's great. And now that they're about to film the final season of Cobra Kai, maybe they can tie it in somehow. But again, I have no idea if the final season of Cobra Kai, which I am excited for, how much of that will set up into the movie, or if it'll just kind of be ignored canon, you know? We'll have to wait and see on that. But I gotta admit, as a Karate Kid fan, very excited for this movie. I hope it does well. Let's go. Jackie Chan coming back, yeah. Something else I want to talk about here, because we just continue to get updates about what Sony is doing, and I guess it makes sense. The Hollywood strike is over, so they're trying to put their plans into action. A report by Daniel RPK came out saying that a Sinister 6 movie featuring Sony's Spider-Man spin-off characters is currently in the works. And like, just looking at the photo of possible villains that could be part of this Sinister 6, I just want to bury my face in my palm and go, Sony, what are you doing? Now, very much like the Venom movie, a Sinister 6 movie has been something that Sony has been trying to get off the ground for a very long time. Before we got Venom, a Venom solo movie was in the works for like 10 years before it finally happened with Tom Hardy. And the last we heard with the Sinister 6 movie is it was going to be attached to the Amazing Spider-Man universe with Andrew Garfield. And even Andrew Garfield has talked about, you know, he was told the idea for the movie and he thought it sounded like a fun idea, and they maybe would have had him be part of it. But of course, everything in the Andrew universe just got swept under the rug, and as much as we want to see that boy back, I really hope he's not part of this Sinister 6. Because I'm going to say right now, what is sinister about these 6? If we're just going off the 4 on screen, whether it's Venom, Morbius, the Vulture, maybe Kraven, most of these guys are being portrayed as good people in Sony's weird villain solo movies. Venom is essentially a good guy. He doesn't want to hurt people, be bad. He wants to save people. Morbius is also a good guy. You know, he's a living vampire, but he still wants to do good. Vulture turned good at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. Kraven is the only one that's like, maybe, because the dude is biting people's noses off in this trailer. Like, yeah, that is actual villain material, but why would any of them actually get in a room together and be, what are we, some sort of Sinister Six here? It makes no sense to me. Like, how do you even fit in Madam
Oh man, nah, you funny.
Web into that? Are you considering her a villain and putting her in the Sinister Six? You couldn't even make the Sinister Six work in No Way Home. We were one villain joining that team from it being the Sinister Six, but instead we got the Fergalicious Five. I don't know. Sony just like wants to bury this whole super deep and just lose a lot of the trust of Spider-Man fans, but who knows? Maybe they could make it work. We'll have to wait and see, though, but you can bet your sweet patootie Sony is wanting to do this. They've been working on it for a long time. They finally got Venom made. They're gonna get Sinister Six made one day, and this is what we got right now. What are your thoughts about Sony really wanting to make a Sinister Six movie? Bring me now to talk about Scream 7. Oh, man, the Scream 7 news has been eating away at my little heart these past couple of days. It is shocking. Like, I've just been glued to my screen reading
Don't miss out on some of the biggest savings of the year.
everyone's reactions, thoughts on the situation, what should happen to the franchise, whether people are boycotting, not wanting to see it, and all this crazy stuff. And well, Spyglass and the studio are also very much wanting you to forget about all the bad news and press as soon as possible, because not even like 24 hours after Melissa Barrera was fired, and also Jenna Ortega leaving the project for scheduling conflicts, we got an article by Variety talking about, okay, now that the bad stuff's out of the way, get excited for what we got going. This article says here, Scream 7 faces full creative reboot after losing Jenna Ortega, Neve Campbell, and Patrick Dempsey on wish list. But essentially what they say here is that James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick, the writers of the previous two Scream installments, will now work on a fresh draft to present to filmmakers. Some set pieces and twists may be preserved, but the movie will need to find new protagonists. Ortega and Barrera signed on for 2 Scream movies and fulfilled those obligations with installments 5 and 6. Another source noted they would have needed new deals for the 7th chapter. And okay, before we even get to speculating as fans what could be happening on Scream 7, that is an interesting piece of information, because there's been some back and forth, right? The timing was really odd when a day after Melissa Barrera was fired, Jenna Ortega's like, well, I'm not part of the movie. You know, a lot of fans like me want to believe really hard that it was Jenna going, yeah, I stand with Melissa. You guys did her dirty. I'm quitting too. But a lot of articles have come out since then that this has actually been in negotiations for months. And in fact, this Variety article mentions that Jenna Ortega actually left before Melissa Barrera was fired. This has now sparked some conspiracy theories that once Spyglass knew that their moneymaker Jenna Ortega was just not going to be part of Scream 7, they were like, could we even make this movie work with just Melissa? And especially with Spyglass having a history of not wanting to pay their actresses what they're worth here, Melissa Barrera was due for a big payday, renegotiating her contract and being the star of Scream 7. It really feels like they created the most BS reason just to fire her and move on. So from there now, what are our options? So they said it here, they need a new star and someone to star in Scream 7, and as of right now, they have not signed Neve Campbell. They have them on a wish list along with Patrick Dempsey, who was the cop in Scream 3, and a lot of fans believing to be the husband of Sidney Prescott in the Scream world. I think Spyglass and the studio are prepared to drop boatloads of money now on Neve Campbell. They shorthanded her for the last 2 movies, and here they need her if they want any attention to Scream 7, because let's say Neve Campbell doesn't want to sign on, whether because she wants to stand in solidarity with Melissa, or again, they just don't offer her enough money. There is no way you could make a new Scream movie starting completely from scratch, brand new faces out there, call it Scream 7, and as many fans are going to show up. I just do not see that happening. That's where I feel like they hit the cancel button on this movie. The only way you're going to get some Scream fans showing up or even have a decent turnout is if by hiring Neve Campbell. But even that is such an entirely sticky situation, because I know if Neve does sign on and take the role again, there will be some people mad at her and going, why didn't you stand with Melissa? Why didn't you, be solidarity? And she'll get some hate and flack for it, which is kind of wild to think about, because this franchise has always been her. And imagine now being mad that she's part of it, especially when there was a time that the whole cast was willing to make a movie when she wasn't getting paid fairly for Scream 6. But then there's also that other side that maybe Neve Campbell is scared to speak out or be in solidarity with Melissa. We're seeing so many actors and actresses in Hollywood right now losing their jobs, being fired, blacklisted from Hollywood just from being honest about their opinions on the Israel war. And that could even just be a determining factor for her wanting to sign on, because maybe her saying no to the role could be other studios going, oh, we see where she stands. No movies ever for Neve Campbell, and that decade-long career that she's been building up and putting together carefully, gone in the blink of an eye. It's like a really scary, weird time in Hollywood, man. And all us horror fans want to do is just enjoy our horror movies. Watch Ghostface go about killing some people, finish the storylines of characters we cared about, and the whole situation has just gotten messy. Part of me feels like this is going to be their version of Halloween H2O, where they maybe just ignore the continuity of 5 and 6, bring back Dewey to life, start a whole new timeline, because I don't know just how you make it make sense from going to Scream 6 back to the continuity of the old stars in a smooth transition. I'm like, did that work? I don't know, but I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on the situation. What do you think going on with Scream 7, and what could they realistically do to get enough fans excited for this movie? But that is all the movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.
But yeah though, man, a lot of news came out today. But yeah, like it up, sub it, let me know what y'all think on all these news, man. Let me know comment below. And yeah, peace.